Welcome to Manny's TV Talk, where we will talk about all of our favorite reality TV shows and news surrounding them. Grab a snack, a drink, and get comfortable because this starts now. Hey y'all, it is time to talk about part 2 of the Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6 reunion. Let's get started.
That's what I'm saying. Get out of this one, sweetie. 3 years ago. Trying to be respectful, but I'm not here for you at all. Man, I don't have a problem with you. I ain't have a problem at all.
Okay, you guys, there's a lot to talk about this reunion, so let's start. So Tisha done got tired of Kiki coming after her time and time again about her being next to a cheater, allegedly. So Tisha finally exposes Kiki and says Kiki has cheated on her husband cheated on her this whole time. And y'all, Kiki didn't deny it. She says, and your point is? So Kiki completely accepts these accusations. Apparently there was also an instance where Kiki's husband asked her for money to take his mistress to dinner. What? Now where they do that at? But I mean, I will give her some credit for being honest, but it seems pretty hypocritical for Kiki to care so much about Tisha and her supposed cheating husband when she's been cheating on her husband this whole time. And then they start to go at it, and Kiki resorts to name-calling Tisha. Then Tisha reveals the reason as to why she was not speaking to Kiki the day of Kimmi's barbecue. So, like, the day that the drink was thrown. So this is the thing. 2 days before that, Tisha heard a conversation that happened between Kiki and this one guy. In this conversation, Kiki was telling this guy to please tell her everything that she know about Marsau and if he cheated or not. But not once did she ever say, I'm going to go tell Tisha about this. So Tisha heard this conversation and then went and asked Kiki if she had talked to this person and how she talked about Marsau. And Kiki denied talking to the guy about Marsau. But Tisha had already heard the call. So Kiki is a liar, and Tisha says at this point, Kiki is leeching off of them to get a storyline. So then Carlo asks Kimmi and Nell if they agree with Kiki that Tisha is in denial. At first he didn't want to answer, but they say no. They just think that she just wants hard proof, like she wants real evidence in order to leave, which is understandable. Then Kiki says, well, why would I be out here making these lies about them? What would I gain? And Marsau says, you'll gain some more time on television. Then the cast sees another season package of scenes. This one is about Kiki and her stealing from Home Depot, her sobriety, and all those shenanigans. So after they see those scenes, they talk about the drink throw. And Carlos tells Kiki that people think that her behavior is erratic. And in that specific situation, Tisha really didn't do anything to Kiki for her to throw that drink. So Kiki says, well, Tisha knows that when someone ignores me, I'm triggered. Really, Kiki? Then Carlos asks the Scotts if they think Kiki is still on drugs. And they both say yes. Tisha says that Kiki herself even told her about some operation going on with her and some guy selling drugs, buying them. I don't know. Now, Kiki says that it happened a long time ago. But Marsau says this happened in 2021. It was not that long ago. Kiki then screams at Marsau and says, shut up! The others say that they don't think that she's on drugs, but Kimmi does say that she noticed that Kiki was sweating a lot that day. So then Carlos acknowledges the discrepancy that occurred when Kiki was doing that test brought by Melody, which apparently the test had said that she was clear of ever taking any methadone. But Kiki herself admitted to taking methadone this season, so which one is it? But she says that she doesn't think that the test had methadone, but they say that it did have methadone as one of the things. So did she use somebody else's pee? Melody says that no, that it was really a legit test. So then Carlos asks, are you sober? Have you been sober this whole time during filming? And she says absolutely. She says yes, that she's never done no hardcore stuff. So the question is, why do the Scotts think that she is on substances? Well, they say that it's because they've known her for 18 years, and because they know her, they know how she reacts to stuff like this, and they've picked her up from the street when her mama didn't want to, when her husband didn't want to. Tisha and Marsau were there for her. As they were explaining this, Kiki is screaming, and it was erratic. It's clear that she needs help. As far as the Home Depot shoplifting, the little lock, she says that it was her, but the story is wrong. I don't know, child. This is crazy. But like I said, Kiki definitely needs some help because this ain't normal. And the word on the street is that she apparently is asking some YouTubers for money. She needs serious help, and apparently so does her husband. So that was it for Kiki. Then the Whitlows come out, and so do the Fletchers. It was great to see both couples. They looked great, especially Tifanny. She looked really good. Also, before they begin, Chris is actually a pretty good dancer, so he and Carlos danced. It was fun to see that. The next segment that they watch is Martell's storyline of him dating, which is crazy. When they were showing the scenes, it's crazy to see how, like, honestly, how much they stretch this season. But anyway, they see those scenes, and then the first question is he still dating Shereé? He says that they never officially went out. Kimmi says that she never even saw any fuzziness between them anyway, so she's not surprised about that. Carlos tells Martell that people suggest that Martell and Shereé had an agreement. Of course, he denies it and says that they were just having some fun. So Tifanny jumps in and says, if y'all were not dating, then why did you get so mad at me for grilling her at your party? Martell says it's still disrespectful, and I do agree with him on that. Whether or not they were dating, Tifanny really had no business talking to Shereé like that, to anybody like that. Whitlow says that after he watched it back, yeah, Tifanny added a little bit too much sauce, but he doesn't regret the way that he confronted Marsau and Martell for the way that they spoke to her in another meeting that they had. By the way, Marsau was really trying to be on Tifanny and Whitlow's side. He was being funny, he was being nice. They talk about him calling her a Karen, though. She thinks that it's because she's half white, but Marsau says that it's not racist. He says that he was referring to the characteristics of a Karen, not of the race. And they go back and forth on that, but it was not that serious. Then Carlos asks Martell if it's hard for him to date other women because he might still have feelings for Melody. I mean, he did flirt with her all season. Martell asks, well, who says that I still have feelings for Melody? So then Miss Nell jumps in and says, well, you told me in my porch that you would take it all back. Then regarding the last name ceremony, Martell says that he would have understood if she was getting married why she would do this, but it really didn't make no sense. It was just weird to him. Carlos asks Martell, does he think if he were to openly say that he had feelings for Melody, would she run with it? Like, why is he hesitant to say that? Then Marsau says, maybe your wife would be mad at you for this, for if you said that. And Melody says, exactly. Martell says that he is not in a relationship with Coleslaw, but Melody thinks that he is. Because when she goes to the house and the kids are there, Coleslaw is always around. Melody says that she's not hurt that she's around the kids, but she will never trust or forgive anyone who destroyed her marriage and who has said so many horrible things about her, and even Martell. Then Martell tries to say something about Melody being so difficult. He says that when it comes to the children and stuff like that, like babysitters and all of that stuff, he is really open, but when it's on her, she isn't, and that's what the paperwork says, and it proves it. She says no, so then he gets up so fast and goes to get that paperwork. Child, Martell came back with a thick manila folder, but Melody says that it's not valid because it wasn't her attorney who wrote it, which she's so wrong for that. But I do believe that the stuff in that folder was real, but Carlos didn't even read it. Melody starts to attack him even more, and it comes to the point where Martell screams at the top of his lungs and says, "You're a liar!" Carlos had to get up and stop it. Melody says, "That's why I came and I beat your ass that one time." Huh? Now if a man has said that? Okay. I'm so tired of these two. I'm going to be honest with y'all. How many more times can we see them fight? They're both equally toxic. Toxic plus toxic equals more toxicity. Okay, then I talk about the Whitlows. The segment that they watch is about Tifanny and her pregnancy and the aftermath of her postpartum depression, and then they ultimately quitting the show. It was very sad. So the first question is, how is Tifanny doing? Tifanny says that her postpartum depression was the hardest thing that she's ever gone through, and she would have never thought this would happen to her. Lo was away making a living, so it was just a lot of stuff going on. The fact that they quit the show was hard. They appreciated everyone, but they felt that it was needed. Carlos King says that the door will always be open for them if they ever decide to come back. I already spoke about this before, but I like Tifanny and Lo. I think that they were brought in the wrong way. I think they were brought in to create drama, and they were never really able to escape those roles of the messy potsters. I don't think it was truly them. I think it was more of a production thing, because I'm gonna ask y'all right now, do y'all know what Tiffany's job is? Most people don't, even though she was on the show and she has a very important job. So I do feel bad for them, and I hope that they can have peace and prosperity. Then they bring out Stormy's mom, Bettie, and her cousin. They see Stormy's season package, which she actually had quite a bit this season. I mean, her business, but most importantly, her relationship with her mom, her aunt, her cousin, and all that mess, and Betty's problem with Melody. So after they see all that, Miss Bettie explains that when these fan pages come after the cast members, in this case Stormy, Melody is not only is she in those fan pages, but she endorses it. There was a situation where Melody tweeted out that somebody recorded her, and it was pretty much insinuated that it was Stormy. Melody tried to downplay it, but Stormy says that these fans were literally going on Melody's own post and like commenting things about Stormy, like it was flooded with that. And it went even further than that. People were like making false police reports, trying to destroy her business, her products. Again, Melody plays dumb. She asks, well, was it because of my tweet? So Miss Bettie goes mama bear mode and goes in on Mel. But Mel says, Miss Bettie, you have enough problems going on in your life with your sister. Worry about yourself. So this became Miss Bettie versus Melody. It got to the point where they were screaming at each other. And Miss Bettie says, that's the woman who stayed with her man after he done cheated on her. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was interesting because if y'all remember the last time they had a back and forth, Melody was pretty respectful, but this time she was not. She was tired of Miss Bettie and she wasn't gonna have it. But I gotta give it up to Miss Bettie for defending her daughter. And I mean, she is right. What Melody does with her obsessed fans is crazy. These people will go after other people's lives and their livelihoods. So that is not okay. So I appreciate Miss Bettie going up there and defending her daughter against this crap. But anyway, you guys, this was the end of the second part of the reunion. Pretty good stuff. I think they could have done with just two parts. I don't really see the need for a third, but there's one more, so we're going to be here talking about that next week. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. You have a great one. Bye.